So last spring I made a bird box for a robin to get it out of my garage, and in the end it nested on a shelf but in a bike shed. I've got this stack of wood and I thought I'd have another go. And what I've learned is they like nesting on shelves. I've seen ones where they go in kind of round the back, so it's kind of a slot around the back rather than a slot in the top. They also like to be a little bit lower to the ground, so I'm going to try making this sort of terrace with two, because they seem to do multiple nests through the year but never repeat the same spot. So let's see how it goes. There's always a lot of hate on YouTube for scrap wood stuff done with big machines. Could have cut that with that saw, could cut it all with that saw. It just takes longer. You know, jigsaw would do it. Got to have the scrap wood obviously, but you can pull that out of a skip. Really not too far from finished. So, nothing fits, everything's a bit wobbly. And my trick is to inset things so the offset doesn't show. So I need some sort of roof and then just screw it all together. I've got this piece of exterior grade ply with various screw holes in, a bit punched out, that would do as the roof. I can get a nice overhang that way. It's a little bit short, so what I'm going to do is try and make this a bit narrower. I like that width, so I'm probably just going to make those a bit narrower so everything will just shuffle along a little bit, and then I'll get the overhang I want off the ends. So these are the nicest ends, these are wobbly ends, so I'll cut the wobbly ends off, mark them as a pair, they don't have to match. Before I turn the saw on, I'm also going to work out how much overhang I want here. So it'll overhang a little bit at the back because it was spaced off the fence. I like doing that. That looks plenty, so I can just mark that as a trim. So having shortened these little bits by that amount each, I can now take that amount off my baseboard, which will then give me one of those widths overhang each end. So another cut. I went looking for the good end, bad end to take a piece off, and that end is quite a bit out of square, and this end a little bit out of square, so I'm going to take a little piece off each end, I think. So I've got a nail hole which would be nice to get rid of here, so I'll take a little bit more off this end, a bit less off that end. Last job for have a cup of tea before I start dreaming up things to do with those little offcuts. Get those safely in the bin. Occurred to me there are some obvious questions if someone's wanting to make one of these, and this has come out as 18 inches by 8 for the roof, and this plank was 6 inches wide, and the width between the walls has come out at 14 and a half, and the gap in the middle is 4. Whether the Robin is a fan of these dimensions, you'll have to wait and see. There's a smart way to do this, I haven't worked it out yet, but I'll mark an offset on these pieces for the setback, and then there's an obvious way to mark this end one. Don't think the back needs an offset, I think that can go flush. I'll do the other end the same. It's probably going to make sense to join these two together first and then put them in as a module. I'll mark up where that one goes so I can get its hole in. I'll try not to get too carried away with screws, so kind of one screw per thing. Something else here, there's going to be a little gap here for an air vent. Could have been a little gap there to drain liquid out, but I think I'll leave that as an air vent. I might drill a couple of holes in the bottom as drainage. Might not be obvious how I'm drawing these lines, so I hold my finger on the pencil like that, so my finger rubs along the edge of the wood to draw the line. You can get tools that do that. Probably got several of them up here, not within easy reach, because this is what I do. Might end up got a nail, so you can set that and then rub it along and leaves a mark. But my technique works for me. Another advantage of that cup of tea is come back, tidy the tools away, and kind of reset, and can then review and make sure I've got all of the lines, all of the pieces, and I'm just that bit more organised before I go on to the next stage, which would be to mark and drill where I want my holes. And the discipline here is I'm trying not to overdo how many holes, and if I need more holes I can always drill them. I don't hold this together with the minimum number of screws. It's not exactly a nuclear submarine or a rocket ship. So it looks like, enough to be getting on with. See how I go with those. Starting to hear the fireworks tonight. Bowed up because all of these are wonky bits of wood. I can hold that in place while I get this one in. So working with rough old bits of wood brings its own challenges. Trying to make it look something, but it's quite nice having a day off from trying to make something to millimetre precision. And as you can see, they come together gratifyingly quickly. There's a big gap here, but that should close up. and take a little bit. Because I've been doing end trimmings and things, this stuff is roughly square, so it should pull into some sort of decent shape. Get those screws in. I wonder whether I need the ones on the bottom, but I drilled those holes. I'll put those in this way. So my technique with the roof is to put screws on the back that then hang on it. So those just hook over the back, stop the roof falling off. Would it have been easier to mark the drain holes and drill them first? Yes, but whatever. So I've kind of marked a line across, and you can work out roughly where to put these. So it's dark today, installation for another day. I'd say that's done. I love a done in a day project, and this just about makes that category. So I think the first job today is get rid of those offcuts before I start thinking of things to make with those. While I'm in the mood, I might also have a go at another design of birdhouse I've been itching to try. So there's the bird box I made in the spring. I put the other one lower down in there. Advice was they like to be low down with a view out through cover. Hopefully this is it. So I first screwed that piece of wood to the fence at the back with 2 screws, and then there's just 1 screw through there to hang the box on, which is perfectly adequate for a robin's nest, which is no weight at all. The roof with its 2 screws just hangs on the back. However, while I like the brown, I don't like the colour of that roof, so it's going to come off again for painting. But Cooper and Old Garden Shades Willow Green, kind of my signature colour. This one, I'm going to paint the box, but I like the brown wood for the roof, so I'll leave that. And then this one, I like the box, I'm going to do the roof. Just mucky garden quality painting. If I've got gloves on, I can handle all the edges and then just touched up the end. Those 2 screws are what the roof hangs on. I put an extra screw in, so it'll stand on those feet, so I can do that side, flip it over and do that side in one go. So there's our little robin semi-detached house. It's tucked in there. And behind that door is where it built its nest. And when I was working with that door open, it was determined to nest in there. So hopefully this is a des res, and we'll see a bit of use next year. Here's the 1-bedroom detached, which blends in a bit better with that green paint. This one's been here a while. It's pine ends and very thin ply sides and roof, but painted. And I took a lot of care to get the sides the same angle that my son had drawn. He was drawing a bird box. it was some years later he told me that actually it was a mistake. It was supposed to be vertical sides, but I rather like it. I've got a little perch out the front of the hole, but it's